Okay, abusuaba makwaba sonkoso ereba POG Media so. Yembonra yensem no ora team no echese Nana Akuffo Addo ne Auditor General echese oyi no ema Ghana for Auditor General no abusua 52.5 billion Ghana cedis abusua echese mine no elutu sikana sisi ano police for akwa sonima abusia enye easy kra Ghana sika wa ha HSA sika no on the Bank of Ghana boss no NHS IS akana na sika no omode achoke one side sa 52 point something billion no on the NPP nkofo no NPP officials no na ache bi enti sisi ano orati no adrop ya ba abonten sisi ano omode sa scandal aba naso ayeshia Auditor General ne prosecution eben na sisi ano John Dramani Mahama so no edinensem aba abetudo afa ho abusuan mom yenko na yenko nkoti ensema course na ansa na yebeko no owo ensem kan bi afahye the comment section like na share ma from so no ensa into me enka bi POG Media so madam say
designate. Take a look.
The orders provide that they should be joined by
That everybody has a right to acquire property, and so if that acquisition of property is deemed to have been done in a questionable, corrupt manner, the administration of the NDC should resort to due process and properly investigate the persons before even recovering any loot. Well, he's not alone in this. There are a number of persons who have also asked similar questions. And that's why we brought one member of the team, Operation Recover All Loot preparatory team. And bear in mind, this is just the preparatory team. They are preparing the way for the oral team itself, if the statement establishing them is anything to go by. And then also one of them will join us on Zoom. But Martin Pebu is a member of the 5-member Operation Recover All Loot preparatory team. He's a private legal practitioner. He is the convener of the Comipekuru demonstration of the foremost human rights lawyers we have in this country. Lawyer Martin Pebu, good morning. Welcome.
Morning, Mr. Okansi. Good.
How are you and Oral?
Yeah, very well. We are making progress with Oral. Yeah, a lot of progress. But as usual, let me do the normal greetings. Greet Gamanche and the rest. So Gamanche, Kentucky, Teku Churu, the second. Good morning, morning. We are forever grateful. More fire. Gamanche says that he's not resting until he gets justice in the Sicily Adapa matter. One woman should not have so many millions of dollars and pounds and euros, etc., under her bed. This is not the Ghana Kwame Nkrumah bills for us. Okay.
You know, this week she was in the news.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Sicily Adapa again.
Yes.
Okay.
She was in the
She
news.
denies,
In fact,
denies receiving 43 million.
We'll put it on the screen. News.com.
Aid clarifies.
Yes.
Oh.
Let's put that on the screen right now. This is what happened in court.
Okay.
But, yes. She's denied one of the many issues that came up.
Okay.
Receiving this $43 million for this Addo project river.
Okay.
A river project, I beg your pardon.
All right.
So, yeah.
Let's see how it goes. You know, it's normal. I mean, hardly will people accept their wrongdoing. A lot of people don't. So let's see how it goes, since the matter is in court. But we will have to get justice. Yes, we have to get justice in this matter, right? And it's good that Ghanaians have changed government so that now the judge herself will be free, maybe the investigative agencies will be free, and everybody will be free so that we get justice. Hey, and then number 2, Yes Antwa, so for Akuffo. Oh, you know, I've been trying to remember if I've ever seen an outside court. I don't seem to remember, but on Thursday, I finally met her. I've been trying to remember that outside the Supreme Court, have I ever met her? I don't, unless maybe. But for the past 3 days, I don't remember ever meeting her outside court. But on Thursday, I met her. She said she will grant your interview, right? Yeah, you know, last week I mentioned that she granted an interview, the most recent one, in which she also bemoaned this lack of separation of powers in our constitution, where the judiciary is under the armpit of the executive. She bemoaned it and said, no, let's have a proper constitutional review so that Article 144 will be properly reviewed. The Supreme Court will not have the justices, and for that matter, all the superior courts will not have the justices appointed by the president. No, it makes the judiciary an appendage of the executive. You remember I told you how Akuffo sent Godfrey Dame after Justice Bafuboni, hounded him left, right, center for about 6 years. Get out of office, get out of office. This thing should never happen again. Elsewhere, it's impeachable that we could have used that alone to impeach Akuffo. You can't hound a Supreme Court judge. Get out of office, just because he did what his conscience felt right. That, listen, if people went to vote, killed in the sun, were scorched, and then they voted, the failure of a presiding officer to sign should not nullify their votes. Is this difficult to understand? And then for 6 years or so, scorched, hounded Bafuboni left, right, center, wouldn't even give him proper audience in the Jubilee House, etc., denied him many amenities and facilities, you know. So we've learned a great lesson. And there are other cases of judicial interference, but we don't have this is not the topic for today, so I don't want to go too far, right? So for Akuffo, we are grateful. It was nice meeting you. And I bet him in the presence of Jim Mensah's husband. Can you imagine going to that meeting? I was like, hey, is the man going to ask me that? Why have you been criticizing my wife for, you know? But that didn't come up at all, you know. But as I sat down there, I was like, hey, what is going through his mind? Maybe he hasn't seen. Okay, so yes, that's why we're grateful. Thanks.
Indeed.
Then, Osi Adeyo Ajimambedu II, Domahini, good morning. Domahini, more fire. Now that we know JM is generally better when it comes to media freedom. So we expect more booms from Domahini. Yes, Domahini is a trailblazer, a chief who doesn't think that he should be an armchair chief, but rather thinks that, yes, when things go wrong, he should step out and point out the wrongs. That's the only way this our democracy would thrive. Because I keep quoting Plato. Says exactly the philosopher came. It starts with that an unexamined life is not worth living.
Indeed.
An unexamined life is not worth living. What does it mean? That among the citizens should ask questions. Citizens should hold leaders to account. So where we say, oh, because he's a chief, he shouldn't come into politics, that's not true. As long as it's not being partisan. You even remember the Supreme Court, Elon Kwame Goni, the Attorney General. The Supreme Court said the chiefs can take part in politics, but they should not they should not show their preference for candidates. Don't show your preference. So if family and friends man, Dr. Palgrives Dankwa, right, Wachi Dankwa, is contesting with Honorable Dafia Meko, what the Supreme Court says is that, yes, we can say, okay, Palgrives policies are good, etc., but just don't go the final step that I want to vote for him or I prefer him to Honorable Dafia Meko. And no, sometimes, you see, let's be practical. By extolling the policies of one party against the other, indirectly you are preferring. At least that's how the Supreme Court has held it. So the point I'm making is that the Supreme Domahini has enough space to be able to contribute more. Right. And then finally, our 52.5 billion, Auditor General Johnson Esedu, please, we must have that money before you exit. Let's get into that matter. 52.5 billion. How much did we borrow from the IMF? So much money moving from GCB to unknown sources. Let's get into it. We can't sit there and allow our classmates, juniors, sons and daughters to steal so much money. And then we are quiet. And then we just whitewash it with reports. We must find that money.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, and you remember when this matter came up, I recall the audit service issued a statement that it wasn't true. In fact, in the coming weeks, we have to dedicate, we're going to dedicate a portion of the conversation on this matter. Because if you talk about he addressing it before he leaves office, that may be sooner than later.
Okay.
So we're going to do that as quickly as possible, because every time you mentioned it, I keep getting messages about what the entire 52.5 billion matter is about. People don't really know.
Okay.
And so we would have to get into the details of it. And also, Ross Ndafian, of course, MP for the South Dike constituency, is a private legal practitioner. He's a member of the appointments committee of this 9th Parliament. Good morning. Welcome.
Morning. Thank you very much. Good morning to my co-panelists.
I forgot to greet this Lebanese Zion Farms and all the people on social media. Your guys, they hold your program. They say it is possible radio, 41.2 FM. It is possible.
Let me now acknowledge Dr. Paugrey Boachi-Dankwa is the former government spokesperson on governance and security. That's for the Akuffo administration. Thank you so much for joining us. Dr. Paugrey Boachi-Dankwa.
Good morning, and thank you for the opportunity.
Fantastic. Appreciate you as always. And we'll be having a few persons join us on Zoom as well. So stay with us. And then later we'll have some further conversation. Yes, a quick point. Nano Henning-To is also joining us right now, former General Secretary of the MPP. He was special aide to Alan Chamantin in the 2024 elections. Well, yes, a quick one.
Yes, the issue regarding the money, the 52.5 billion. It was the Auditor General that flagged the matter. Auditor General revealed in his report that amount of money was missing. It could not be traced when he left the bank of the commercial bank and the consolidated accounts at the Bank of Ghana. It couldn't be traced. Now, it was reported in the annual audit report, and so at public accounts we raised it. Then, somehow a year later, the same Auditor General came to explain that somehow they've been able to reconcile the accounts and that there appears to be no problem.
Yes.
We had big issue with it. So the then chairman, Chairman Aveji, had written to the Bank of Ghana and the Auditor General to give further and better particulars of this so-called reconciliation. It never happened.
Exactly.
So it's a matter that requires a full parliamentary inquiry.
Thank you. Thank you.
So is it one that you would instigate, take up
champion.
in this 9th Parliament? You have the majority.
It is one of the issues I intend to move a motion for a full parliamentary inquiry into that, as well as the 25 plus 5 billion financial sector cleanup cost. We don't know which consultants were recruited, how much they charged.
Thank you.
Because to spend in excess of 30 billion, because 25 billion plus 5 billion, to recover, as it were, a cumulative value of assets totaling around 9 billion. It didn't make sense. I've filed a formal question for this to be explained by the then finance minister. He will never come. So these matters must be gone into.
Thank you.
Colossal amount of money.
Thank you. Evading accountability. That's why we voted for you. So make sure.
Says this was done. It was a necessary act.
Yes, Bawumia is a necessary act, but be accountable.
So you're going to take it up?
Yes.
So I would expect that from you.
It will happen. Cecilia Addo was given $53 million to desilt the drains and deal with the flooding in Accra. She came to Parliament upon a question filed by Honorable Eric Opoku, and the video is there. Upon answering those questions, she said she spent as much as $41 million to desilt the outdoor drains and to also construct some drains. As we speak, the outdoor is filled with silt.
Yeah.
It turned out that some part of that money, I suppose, were found under her bed. Because
but that has to be proven.
Unexplained wealth. We know what she's done.
Yes.
You can't.
This matter is in court.
Article 284 clause.
Yes, unexplained wealth.
She couldn't explain why
is also a matter,
at the OSP.
This is also a matter that requires a parliamentary inquiry.
This is Cecilia Addo matter.
Yes.
With specific reference to this money for the desilting of the Addo.
It's a matter of parliamentary record.
So you have said three things this morning.
Yes.
And I don't like that anybody who comes here to say something, I hold you to it. Because like Martin Pebu has said he's going to take up prosecute the former president, Nana Dankwa Akuffo.
Absolutely.
Because he's consistently said here that he's corrupt. And you say you started 2 cases already.
Yeah.
So I'm taking you up on that one.
Yes.
As a reminder. Also, Nelson Robinson, the African Post has said 3 things. Full parliamentary inquiry into this 52.5 billion matter.
Yes.
And then the banking sector cleanup.
Yes.
How much money was spent in the
We know how much
consultants and
was
so
spent,
the
but how it
55
was
billion
spent.
and the 5 billion.
Yeah.
It could be more because you see we started from 20 billion went
No,
to 25.
15.
And then now we are talking about
Then 5,
beyond
then
25
5, then
billion.
5.
I thought even 9 at a point. I thought they
No,
said
9 was the cumulative value of the investment
Okay.
that was threatened.
So it could be more. So this is why an inquiry is needed, and I'll take you up on that. And then this Cecilia Dapa matter as well. So these 3 things.
Yes.
You have a social contract with our viewers
Yes.
I do.
to get it done.
I do.
But Aura has been busy this week, Council.
Yeah.
The Aura preparatory team.
Yeah.
So the understanding I get with your team is that you're only preparing the way for the oral itself, correct?
Exactly.
Or you just started the work of oral.
No. This just there's the preparatory. So like in the Bible, John the Baptist. So we are John the Baptist. We are paving the way
I
for
see.
the real action. So like when we're small, there used to be they say comedies. When they say comedy,
For the movie.
So it is even this comedies is what has generated so much conversation about your work.
Yes.
Then the real oral, I don't know what's going to happen.
So there's another thing. You hear they say when dry bones are mentioned, then old ladies become uncomfortable, right? Exactly. Or which other rendition you want. Yeah. So when dry bones are mentioned, then old ladies take cover or become uncomfortable. That's what is happening.
But let me bring in Dr. Pagre Bachida because, but this week you went to a number of places.
Yeah,
Quickly.
absolutely.
And the NDA, Northern Development Authority,
Yes.
you went to check the. I understand that fence wall has been pulled down.
Yeah, national security. Yes.
National security pulled down.
Yeah, so we reported, we drew the attention of national security to the illegal fence wall there, right? And eventually national security took it down because, you can't just, the state capture has to stop. It has to stop because people are still very, very, very angry. And I'm sure JM knows it. The anger is lingering. If he doesn't begin to act fast, people will channel the anger towards him. So it's within our collective interest that national security acted because, the ND was given 1.73 acres of land, right? And that place, it's even for the avoidance of that. That's why we did the Constitutional Review Commission sittings, etc. So that's, and I understand even prior to that, there were other public projects, etc. So you can't just come and overnight begin to parcel out the land. No. It can't happen. Elsewhere, we'll preserve it even as a monument, So I've heard so many stories. Bottom line is that no, that land is not going anywhere. Once national security is stepped in, let's see how it goes. For the rest, we'll put it in our report. And I'm sure...
Because the CEO came out last week to say they haven't encroached on any land. The 1.2 acres given to them is what they are. I
asked the CEO, when did he assume office? He is a latter-day saint. He was appointed only recently. How long has it been? You remember the NDA case we did in Tamale? It was after Sumala Abdurrahman had to resign and the 2 deputies were sacked. That's when this CEO came. So he's a latter-day saint.
So this is it. This is the video we are showing now.
Yeah. He wasn't there from the beginning. So I think you don't worry. Yeah, I don't want to talk too much about it, But we will see with time. As I said, that building predates him. It's not as if he came into office and acquired it. So he doesn't have all the history about that land. Okay. So he should reserve judgment. Let's see how it pans out.
But this fence wall we are seeing has been pulled down by national security.
Absolutely. And it's good. It's in our collective interest. But when they came, Akuffo said if you want to make money, go to the private sector. You remember at his inauguration, the grandstanding, John Mahama cannot teach me how to preserve the public purse. John Mahama cannot teach me how to preserve the public purse. In the end, like Sam George says, Akuffo went away with the public purse. Now we have to look for another purse. Please, I mean, let national security do its work.
Then after here, you went to the another site.
Yes.
As well. There was one place that you went that we saw so many documents.
Agric mechanization, yeah.
Documents that were left to them at the mercy of the weather.
Yes.
Destroyed.
Yes.
What happened there?
Yes, so that, yes, Burma camp. So, on your way to Burma camp, just before the overhead, to your left, that's if you are coming from Elwak.
Right.
Just after Elwak, towards Burma camp, before you climb the overhead, on your left, that's the land there. We went there and saw that, many acres of land had been parceled out, but this land belonged to the Ministry of Agric, right? Even exporters, can you imagine? Exporters who have to preserve the cold chain, so that from that place to the airport is a very short distance. Can you imagine? Look at the irony, if you want to understand the state capture. The Exporters Association, and they were interviewed, please, I'm not the one saying it, so the media men interviewed them. For their parcel of land, they were asked to pay $500,000. Yes,
$500,000.
Yes, their parcel of land is, let's just call it one plot, okay? So like 70 by 100. Said that's what the authorities asked them to pay, okay? That's this.
So these are the documents we are talking about.
Yes.
The documents and the equipment will show that.
Okay, abusuawe ne ensema ekoso our political highway so a year 52.5 billion I just say afa a year auditor general sasia I just say see ano yadina kwa kopiem e wo court anaso ayeshia mutse lawyer Martin Kebua o chese omontena se emma sankofo we emfa Ghana sika edina enkofo amono chese mobile politics mo kromo nyini chem Mombo brebia na state money ena mo pese mo wiade a omo de documents na omo de ho document aba auditor general na so ayehye abusu ayensa mo mbre no me enko na yenkonkoti ensma epos na ansa na ebeko no ye beda ma sesa mo je pe ne kokoti sa audio e edemai